Hey there, welcome back to Coding with Drew. In the previous video, we learned how to make a read prompt, which would prompt an end user for a desired input. But what if we wanted to provide the end user with a selection and they can only select from this list? If you prefer that interactive menu option, select is your go-to. And you can see in my terminal here, I've already kind of laid out the basics of a select command. So the select is written like this, and we're going to learn some new features. We're basically making our first compound command. So in is a feature, which is a space separated value list that will determine a list of options that you can provide, and it's terminated with a semicolon. A semicolon, if you recall from our video on how bash works, this is a command termination. And then we're going to learn do and done. So what you need to know about do and done is they're much like HTML tags. You always have an opening and a closing, and this is how you open the command that will follow the select. And you always need a break before the done. The done closes the do command, and then a semicolon to terminate everything. Okay, so knowing all this, we're going to close this out and we're going to create a new file. And I'm going to run through this fairly quickly on the same page. We've done this a number of times now. I don't feel like we need to really rehash what we're doing in terms of creating a file, editing the permissions. If you have any questions, refer back to the permissions chapter in this course. All right, so touch selections.sh. And then we're going to chmod 755 selections, if I could spell it correctly, selections.sh. And then we're going to code it. So selections.sh, and it should open up in Visual Studio Code. And we're going to do the same thing we do on every bash file, shebang line /bin/bash. And now we're going to create our first command, our first select command. So as I previously explained, we're going to use a format like this: select variable name, and it's going to be in a list of options. And we're going to semicolon to close it out. And then it'll have a do statement, and then it'll have a break, and then it will have a done. Okay, so we've explained or talked about what these are, and this is just pseudocode, right? This is me commenting so that way I know how to put my code in a logical format and keep track of my notes. Okay, so just below this comment, I'm going to come to line 4 and I'm going to say select. And we're going to give it a variable name, and it's going to be called my variable. It doesn't really matter. And we're going to say in, and we're going to say A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then a semicolon. And then we're going to say do. All right. Now, what we're going to do inside of that, we're going to say PS3, which is your prompt. This is the same as your read-p. It's going to say select a letter. And then we're going to have it echo the selected letter is $ my underscore variable. And below it, we're going to say break. Let's tab that in. And then below that, we're going to say done. Now you can see how this commenting really helped me keep everything in order and make sure I got all the necessary components. You don't have to have it. After you've written your code, you can delete it, but there's nothing wrong with having comments. Leave your comments. Like it's okay to have comments. It's not considered dirty code to have comments everywhere. In fact, I would say it's dirty code to have 0 comments. Don't write code that has no comments, please. I've had to reverse engineer a lot of really crappy code, And the defining difference between crappy code and good code is just that the person took the time to write notes and comments and allowed anybody who had never seen this code before to come in and pick it up and have at least a rudimentary understanding of what this code is doing. Okay, so let's go ahead and save this command. And then we're going to come up here and we're going to run selections.sh /selections tab and press return. So now I'm presented with a list of numbers, and you're probably familiar with this kind of thing from when you set up power level 10K, when you set up your iTerm. And so I can select, let's say 3, and I press return. And the selected letter is C. And that's what my basic code was supposed to do. The selected letter is my variable, which I selected number 3, ABC. The only thing that doesn't seem like it worked is this prompt. We have the default prompt that is displaying the number question mark. And this is because PS3 is actually listed inside of the select. So if we were to move this up to the top of our selection and then run it, so let's try that now. It should display like this cannot be nested inside of the select in order for it to display. Otherwise, the default PS3 will display, and the PS3 is always your prompt. PS3 is a prompt. So now that we've learned a little logic, a little compound command, I think the hardest part here is that you're creating a do, break, done, and getting used to this kind of format. After you've gotten that down, logic is going to be super easy. So we're going to move right into logic and make our scripts think for themselves. I'll see you in the next video.